Hey Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now. 1, it's draft week. 2, there's a ton of stuff to get into in today's episode. And 3, make sure you give me an answer to this question you see on your screen right now. Who's your best guess? Give me your best guess for who the Eagles will take in the first round. Now, they trade up, they trade down, they stay put, who knows? But if you have to put just all your money on one player you really think the Eagles are going to take in round 1, let me know who that is down below right now. All right, Eagle fans, let's jump into the latest Philadelphia Eagles news and rumors, starting with something that I think a lot of people are going to ask me about, and so we'll go ahead and address it right now, and that is the breaking news out of Ian Rapoport and multiple other sources, I should say, that the Falcons are taking calls regarding Julio Jones, the star wide receiver who still might be one of the best receivers, or if not the best receiver, in the National Football League. Let's start with the source here, Ian Rapoport, NFL Network. His tweet today really blew up all over, really, the NFL world. Quote, the Falcons have received calls from teams inquiring about possible trades for all-pro wide receiver Julio Jones. Sources say a trade could not happen for cap reasons before June 1, but teams know Atlanta's brutal cap situation and are calling. A deal won't happen now, but later, maybe, end quote there from Ian Rapoport. So it looks like Julio Jones potentially could be on the move here in the next couple of, well, we don't really know. Days, weeks, months, who really knows? What's important to note here is, yes, Julio Jones can't officially be traded till after June 1 because of salary cap and dead cap money and all that mess in terms of financials, but you can have a deal in place. So technically, you could trade for Julio Jones during or before the NFL draft this week. I mean, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, but it wouldn't actually be official. The transaction wouldn't come through until after June 1st. So if you were a football team that wanted a wide receiver, but don't want to draft one in this year's NFL draft, you go ahead and make a trade for Julio Jones, and that way you don't get your wide receiver, you still are able to get Julio Jones. So a trade can happen today, technically. It's just not officially made official until after June 1st. Let's just make that very, very clear. This isn't it could happen, but we got to wait till after June 1st. It can happen anytime. It will not be officially made official by the National Football League till after June 1, if that makes a lot of sense. Of course, the main issue with Julio Jones is the money, right? It's got a $24 million dead cap hit this year for the Atlanta Falcons, and it's $20+ million the next 2 years. I mean, Atlanta signed him to this massive deal that, is he worthy of? Yes, but goodness gracious, it is absolutely obliterating them right now, and honestly, it's going to be a real turnoff for a lot of football teams like Philadelphia who might possibly want to go ahead and make a trade for him. Here was Peter King, and Peter King has a good write-up on this as well. He talked about this on his article, Monday Morning Quarterback. We'll throw that quote up on the screen right now. Quote, I can't predict any bombshells, but a few things would not surprise me, most notably the Falcons putting the framework of a trade together for star wideout Julio Jones and making the trade effective June 2nd. That way, Atlanta could split Jones' cap charge between 2021 and 2022, instead of getting bashed with it all this year. So if a trade happens, I could expect it to involve a future pick or picks, nothing this year. A future second-round pick as compensation seems fair to me because such a trade wouldn't be official till June. No picks in this draft could be involved, right? Again, so you could still make the trade happen. You just couldn't be giving them a 2021 second-round draft pick because it wouldn't be official till afterwards. So any sort of draft pick compensation will be due in 2022, which we know Philadelphia, already has additional draft capital going forward in next year's draft. My thoughts on this are very simple. Right now, I'd rather draft a wide receiver, right? So if you're talking about who you would rather have, Julio Jones or Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase, I'd take Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith. Now, I'm not saying that they're better than Julio Jones or that they even will be better than Julio Jones, but Jones is on the wrong side of 30 years old, and he costs way too much money. You know how cheap Jamar Chase and Devontae Smith will be for 4 years? I mean, literally from now for the next 4 years, they're on a rookie deal. And if they are even 70% of Julio Jones, they're a better choice overall because, again, they're way, 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 way cheaper. Now, I'm not saying that I wouldn't do this, right? If Atlanta would take a second-round draft pick and then Julio Jones would restructure his deal to at least make it a little bit more team-friendly for Philadelphia, all for it, because that's a future draft pick, and you put him in this offense, and instantly Jalen Hurts has the best receiver in the National Football League, the second best receiver in the National Football League, so I'm not against it from an Eagle perspective, but I think in the end, I'd rather the Eagles just draft a receiver, right? And hope that receiver turns out to be, like we said, 60% of Julio Jones will still be really, really great. We know they will get a receiver. We don't know when or where in the draft they will do that, but a Julio Jones trade can be possible, but I wanted to break down exactly what it would take in terms of doing it now, but not making it official till after June 2nd, and then the compensation and stuff. So that way, if you got questions about Julio Jones, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of Eagle fans asking this question today and more days on, we got you guys covered here on this video. Answer this question: should the Eagles trade for Julio Jones? Like, what do you think? Yes or no? Straight up. Y down below for yes, and down below for no. Let me know what you guys think down below right now. Let's jump into some more Eagle news and rumors, and this is something that is interesting, right? So you remember how a couple of weeks ago we talked about the Athletics article about how Philadelphia is exploring a trade up into the top 10. We broke it all down, and it was like, oh yeah, maybe Philadelphia wants to move up for Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase if they were to fall to 7 or 8, right? That makes perfect sense, going from 12 to 8 to get Devontae Smith. I'm all for that, right? Thomas Mott seal of approval, check. However, there is an unnamed GM in a CBS Sports interview, or an unnamed executive, right? A GM, exec, whatever it is, who says the Eagles are interested in trading up, but it would only be for tight end Kyle Pitts or a quarterback, which is just like, oh, goodness gracious. I mean, the quarterback part of that is just excruciating. Tight end part of it, I mean, listen, I've talked a lot about Kyle Pitts and how I think the media has overhyped him a little bit too much. Like, Pitts has got to eventually be the best tight end ever in NFL history based on the hype that he's had. But at 8, 9, 10, 11, if the Eagles got him, it's good value, right? And possible trade of Zach Ertz or him being gone, I'm fine with it. Trading up for a quarterback, though, would be an absolute nightmare and one of my greatest fears that Howie Roseman could possibly do. Like, you want to piss off some more Eagle fans? Draft a quarterback in the top 10 this year. Just try it, Howie. Like, trust me, that'll really help out your situation right now with the love and hate fans of Philadelphia. Now, here's CBS Sports' unnamed GM or exec on this whole thing. Quote, the Eagles move back up. The GMs I've spoken to believe it's for Pitts or a quarterback. Never rule anything out when it comes to the Eagles and potential trades. I'm just going to ignore the quarterback side of this because I don't even want to talk about it, right? We're just going to pretend like he just said Kyle Pitts. So let's just pretend it's just Kyle Pitts, not a quarterback, because I don't believe the Eagles would take a quarterback in the top 10. They've made dumb moves in the past. This would be the ultimate dumb move, and I don't believe it's going to happen, right? I trust that it will not happen. Pitts, though, Pitts would have to fall to 7 or 8, right? If Philly wants to go ahead and move up, then you got to go to 7 or 8, and that means Pitts has to get past the Bengals at 5, which people don't talk about Cincinnati wanting Kyle Pitts because of Jamar Chase and Penei Sewell, but a possibility. He has to get past Miami at number 6, which is very tough, right? Maybe Smith goes there with the whole Alabama connection. Maybe it's Waddle. He could fall there. And then you got Detroit. So listen, Detroit probably wouldn't take him because Detroit has tight ends. They drafted TJ Hawkinson last year, so that's fine. But 8's the problem, right? Carolina, who traded for Sam Darnold, and really, I mean, besides offensive line, have some needs at tight end. And so you look at a guy like Kyle Pitts there. So if you wanted to move up, 7 is probably the spot you have to go ahead and go to. It's a possibility. We talked about how it probably cost you an additional second-round draft pick or a third-round draft pick. They have 2 third-round draft picks this year, so the possibilities are endless there. But Pitts would have to fall a pretty decent amount. And that, again, is assuming Atlanta doesn't take him at number 4 overall in order for Philadelphia to have a shot at grabbing him. Again, Pitts, if it's there at 7 or 8 or 9, and you can't get Chase or Devontae Smith, fine, right? A weapon for Hurts. That's the thought process, right? A weapon for Hurts. But if they actually were to trade for a quarterback, oh boy. We always ask for grades. It'd be like, grade this pick. I would literally give it like an F minus. But it's not going to happen, right? It's fine. It's going to be okay. Answer this question. Pick one right now. If you could have Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts, who would you rather have in Philadelphia? I'd take Jamar Chase. I still think a wide receiver is a better option than a tight end, no matter how great the media tells us Kyle Pitts will be. Not saying he won't be bad. I mean, again, it's fine. Type P down below for Pitts. Type C down below for Jamar Chase. I would type C down below because get a receiver. They need a receiver. Take Jamar Chase. That is my opinion on this. But again, I'm not the GM, so I can only talk about it instead of actually influencing moves made by Philadelphia. All right, before we go ahead and keep going here, make sure you guys are subscribed to our main channel. Leading up to the draft, obviously plenty of news and rumor videos for the rest of the National Football League, all of which do impact Philadelphia. But more importantly, we're going to be live for every single pick on our main Chat Sports channel during the 2021 NFL Draft. Not just night 1, which I will be a part of. Not just night 2, which I will be a part of. 3, 4, 5, 6, into the 7th round. I mean, they're going to break it down one by one by one. Every single pick. It's great coverage. We had over 1 million people watching our live NFL Draft show last year. And so, of course, make sure you guys are subscribed to our main channel, youtube.com/ChatSportsTV, or just search Chat Sports above me right now to go ahead and sub and be ready to rock, because draft night, we're going to have a lot of fun and a lot of great coverage. Okay, final story here. This broke literally minutes ago as we go ahead and record this on a Monday morning, and that is the Adam Kaplan story via the Inside the Birds podcast, talking about how the Eagles are, for sure, trading Zach Ertz during the draft. So he's expecting a trade, not just during the draft, maybe this week leading up to the draft, but if it does happen during the draft, the trade is going to be early in the draft, which means first round, second round, third round. Like, how early is early? Adam Kaplan didn't really say, but it's interesting. So the prediction I've had forever is that they're going to use Ertz to move up and try to go back into the second round or up in the first round. And Kaplan on the Inside the Bird podcast seemed to go ahead and back that up. Let's see a quote here right now from him There it is. Quote, they're going to trade Zach Ertz. And it's going to be the way that I've said this in the live stream. There are personal people around the league who think that Ertz will be traded no later than early in the draft. Like when I say early, it certainly could happen the way I heard it. There's a very realistic chance it actually happens on the lead up. So listen, very early in the draft to me would be first round. So maybe you want to go back up to get Kyle Pitts and you package your first round draft pick plus Zach Ertz and you go to Carolina and you say, here, you still get a tight end, take Ertz, we'll take 8 overall and we draft Kyle Pitts. So maybe that's a possibility. I would like to use Ertz to get a second round draft pick, right? So you could use Zach Ertz to go back into the second round in order to have 2 second-round draft picks, because the ideal draft for me that I've talked about for months, it's felt like, is a wide receiver or corner in the first round, a wide receiver or corner in the second round, and then a linebacker in the second or third round. If they were to come out of the first 3 rounds of this draft with 2 second-round draft picks, wide receiver, corner, linebacker, like a Jalen Waddle, Asante Samuel Jr., Nick Bolton, right? Boom, boom, boom. That's a perfect draft. I mean, that draft plugs 3 holes that are your desperate need to go ahead and fix, and you can use Ertz to go ahead and do that. I know I've been an anti-trade Zach Ertz for a while, but it looks like it's going to happen, and so why don't you maximize and get the most out of it? I'd rather not use him to go from 12 up unless you're going up to get go up to get a wide receiver or cornerback. But again, stay put at 12. Use Ertz to go back in the second round and then get some additional big-time compensation for that in order to go ahead and bolster this team. I guys think, I'll end on this. You guys want the Eagles to trade Zach Ertz? Type 1 down below for yes. Type 2 down below for no. I mean, they're going to, right? So you probably should type 1 because they are going to. But I guess it's more of what do you want to do? You want to trade him or not? Let me know down below in the comments section right now. And of course, as we wrap this video up right now, make sure you guys stay subscribed here and are also subscribed to our main Chat Sports channel because, I mean, if the Ertz trade happens between now and Thursday, we'll have it covered. If it happens during the draft, we'll have it covered here. So we're your one-stop shop. I'm doing a lot of great stuff here at Chat Sports, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys watching. Also, we have for today here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. I am your host, Thomas Mott. As we go ahead and sign off, we are days away from the NFL draft. I'm pumped. I'm excited. You guys should be too. Stay safe out there. Enjoy the rest of your Monday afternoon.